What is going on, guys? MJ2005 Gundam here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the P-Bandai high-grade Gundam TR-6 Woundwort Psycho Blade Custom from Advance of Zeta Reboot. A Gundam TR-6 unit given to Re-Zeon by the fleeing Black Hares members, it was further modified with the Psycho Blade antenna for the commander to transmit and receive Psycho waves. Our newest bunny comes with a whopping 14 runners, 1 sticker sheet, 1 decal sheet, 2 sprueless bases, and 1 wire. Naturally, being a variant of the original high-grade TR-6, the construction is generally identical, even considering the new head and thigh structure, which is oddly what the instructions start you off with. However, the one challenge introduced to this kit is the nub cleanup. With the kit being mostly black, reusing a mold that wasn't particularly clever with gate placement would leave behind nub marks that take forever to clean up, which does hinder the enjoyability a little bit despite the relatively simple and unique construction. Otherwise, those who kept up with the Advance of Zeta kits should be familiar with the build. Like I mentioned previously, there are 2 ways to assemble this kit. Starting with the standard variant used by the Black Hares, which is literally the original TR-6 with a different color scheme, which they have replicated to a T while having the carryover proportions of the original Woundwort, on top of the stickers used on the eyes, head, thigh and booster pod sensors, clavicle fins, and the chevron on the crotch, as well as a new, albeit dodgy, one for the canopy of the Primrose 2. Otherwise, apart from the kit needing the red manicure and perhaps some panel lining on the lightly colored pieces, what's left about this form is down to personal preference, especially when you only get enough parts to build one full head, so you have to deconstruct the other just to extract the red face piece for conversion. But it's the Psycho Blade custom that you guys have come to this video for, featuring a new thigh frame which drops the height of the kit by a little bit, and a completely new head sculpt based on the famous mugshot, which features its own set of sensor stickers and looks absolutely awesome. Not only does it feature some further venting detail and further exposed eyes which allows the face to fully stare through, there's also that beautiful golden Psycho Blade that uses a darker brownish injection gold instead of the muddy piss gold, while being quite well made for a high grade, especially compared to that of the TR-1 Heisensley Raw 2. Apart from that, the rear of the thighs expose some frame details compared to the standard variant. It's no surprise that I really love the Psycho Blade form of the Woundwort, especially because of that new head sculpt that fixed everything ridiculous about the standard one. I'm just glad that the kit manages to do the design justice. Articulation begins with a ball and hinge neck joint that is decently flexible. There is a shoulder swivel, rotating fins, and shoulders, arms that can raise up perpendicularly, swiveling biceps, single jointed elbows, with another joint behind the bicep, and pegged wrists with a knuckle joint. The abs and waist offer next to nothing. The phallic subarm can move at the base, lending it to great innuendos, while being able to extend on a double joint, and deploy by folding the manipulator out. The rear skirt can also adjust at the drum frame, while possessing a polycap hinge and rotation. Splits towards all directions are of no challenge despite the thick thighs, and there is a folding joint for the transformation restricted by the lowered thigh connection when building the Psycho Blade variant. There's a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and deployable heels for standing. Altogether, the articulation of the TR-6 is left unchanged even with the new mods, except the one that is relevant to the transformation, and without it bearing any weight, it is decently alright to handle. As for accessories, apart from the holding and open hands, and the base adapter to prop the kit up by the crotch, the only weapon included is the composite shield booster, with stickers for the scope and the edges of the blade, the latter of which should be applied with caution or replaced with paint altogether. It features a handle that can fold out for use in the hand, but with the length and weight of the weapon, as well as the shield arm getting in the way of the shoulder, it will get very finicky to handle. Alternatively, you can swap the legs of the shield out, transfer the armor pieces over, before repositioning the gun barrel while setting the blade aside, separating the arm from the shield, and connecting them with the provided wire, on top of plugging the shield arm onto the Gundam's shoulder, and the shield booster into the duplicate sprueless stand to send it out in its claw mode, alleviating all sorts of finickiness whatsoever. The kit also comes with a set of custom adapters similar to the ones from the TR-6 expansion parts. These are for use with the limbs of the Reboot Barzam in order to make the TR-6 Barzam 2. Thanks to the new thigh joint pieces of the Psycho Blade Custom, the connectors are more sunk in, which prevents the configuration from looking too weird. All that is needed is the full package set in the future. On top of that, the Psycho Blade Woundwort can still use the previous expansion parts as well despite the use of the new leg frame, but the weight issues the mold suffers from are still present, which makes me worried for the high-grade Aqua Hambrari 2. The last accessory consists of a block and tiny wings. These are used for the mobile armor mode transformation for the Black Hares variants, since the thigh frame of the Psycho Blade kit is limited from doing so. Simply fold up the arms and wrists, spin them around, and transfer them and the fins onto the transformation block while setting the entire torso aside. Fold up the hips and knees, and insert the tiny little winglets before reattaching the whole assembly upside down. And finally flipping up the subarm and catching it on the notch at the waist, spinning the booster pod around, and plugging the entire torso assembly into it. The result is a quite decent, compact fighter, and having experienced the Metal Robot Damashi's transformation, I'm more thankful of the simpler parts forming approach. However, I'm not sure why they would leave the fins of the pod sticking out. It looks ridiculous, and there's even a new block piece with longer shoulder pegs for the arms to circumvent them. I guess you don't have to account for aerodynamics in space, but I must admit that the stylistic minds in the Black Hares team work differently compared to mine. For leftovers, it mostly consists of parts left over from the color coding for the kit. At least you'll have the option to mix and match or use these parts as backups if necessary. The utterly confusing lore and illustration inconsistencies aside, the high-grade Gundam TR-6 Woundwort Psycho Blade Custom is essentially just more of the same from the TR-6 mold with a new paint scheme. The Black Hares version is nothing special or different by any means, and the unwieldy nature of the Composite Shield Booster and TR-6 frame are carried over as well. Although, the Psycho Blade head really gave this kit the facelift that it deserves, since while possessing the beautiful Angel V-fin, it allowed the face to fully show through instead of having an accurate head sculpt at the cost of obscuring the eyes. The tailored compatibility between this and the Barzam is nice as well, obviously setting up a full Barzam 2 kit in the future. Of course, for those who missed out on the previous high-grade TR-6 Woundwort or TR-6 Hazel 2 releases, this is another good chance to grab a high-grade TR-6 and try it out. Otherwise, it's all down to visual preference. And that's all for me. Thank you for watching, drop a like and comment if you did enjoy the video, subscribe for more content like this, and feel free to follow me on social media with the links down below. That said, take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out guys, bye bye.